Thank you for stopping by. My name is Murphy Kargas, and this is number 27, and the red guitar is back on the wall because I played guitar for New Direction. Now for this one, that was the first song off 1459, which I believe was pretty much Mark. I'm gonna stand a little bit. No, it was Mark's idea to call it 1459, which was really funny. We felt like it was beating the critics to the punch of saying like, oh yeah, you know, our 15 minutes of fame are up. We've got 1 second left. Or actually 1 minute left. And then I think we had like we had on our record, we had the clock. And so we actually put, it wasn't a minute left, we had like 1 second. That's just a little fun. Did we poke at ourselves and to try to just let people know, hey, we realize, you know, that, that we don't know what we're doing here. So we're trying to have fun. But anyways, this is number 27. Like I said, this is every morning. This is a big song for us. Great song. You know, we had a period of creativity that was just pretty cool. We were all just in harmony, and I don't know, everybody was getting along. You know, we had done well with Fly. That was a surprise, and that was super cool. And it really surprised us, even though when we mixed Fly and we listened to it, we're like, this sounds pretty cool. You don't really know. You know, you have no idea what's going to work and what's not going to work if you're releasing something. Music, anything, you know, anything maybe art related or so. We were having a lot of fun. This song was written, I believe it began at a place called Studio 56. So I have that right. It was over on Santa Monica. It was a weird place. It wasn't a traditional recording studio, even though it had all these rooms and it had tracking rooms with like real gear, but then it also had like bigger rehearsal rooms. So, I mean, and we moved in like, you know, we did well. So like we had some fun with it. We're like, okay, hey, let's set up like a basketball hoop and a couch and a TV. And we kind of set up a room that was fun to be in and just kind of write and record and goof around pre-production. And it was a brilliant little riff that Rodney came up with, that little da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. And we always, when we would write songs, it would kind of come, we wrote them together, that's for sure. But Fly changed everything. And so I think it opened the doors and the possibility for anybody to write something that was less than just hard charging and in your face, which was what we were writing to the point. And so everybody's like, great, that's cool. We didn't, as you know, if you watch this, we didn't try to write Fly. Fly came out of this weird, broken moment at a band practice. And it just came out, and we followed it for fun because we had a rule in our band. Never say, you were not allowed to say, it doesn't sound like us, man, forget that. If somebody brought in a weird song. We at least had to give it a try in rehearsal and go through it and try to have a good attitude. Because I think we felt like saying, dude, that doesn't sound like us, you got to say it in that exact tone too. I think the perfect like surfer, California. Why are surfers like that? Why do they get the bad rap of talking like that? Anyways, so we said that you cannot do that. You're not allowed to throw out a song just because you think it doesn't sound like you, because you never know where it's going to lead. Where something, a little jam, I mean, there, case in point, Fly. If we would have thrown that out because we thought it was so weird, you know, a lot of things would have never happened for us. So anyways, back to every morning, we're sitting around during the writing for this record, and we're like, okay. But we had little pieces. I said that we all wrote together, and we all kind of turned in pieces. Like, here's Rodney's got a couple, Stan's got these, and Mark's got these, and so everybody started like turning in ideas. And like I said, it really opened the doors for everybody else to write, I think, at that point. And Rodney came up with this little bitchin' thing with the drum loop playing with that little thing. And it was very simple, and the chord progression was just very, very classic and simple. It's almost like the Sweet Jane. That's essentially every morning, A, E, A, E, D, D, E, A, and then, but so, and remember, I don't know if I said, you know, I played guitar on a lot of Lemonade Brownies. Rodney played the bass to this on the record. I don't have a problem with that. None of us had a problem with switching instruments and turning things over and me doing a guitar thing, or, you know, Stan singing something, or Rodney playing a bass line, and so, and Craig, you know, like I had mentioned, Craig tried to sound like a guitar player in our band. So anyways, so we heard this little idea, and it was pretty special. And we just, you know, like it went through its process. Stan wrote the hook. It's well noted. I think we've said this before a lot. If you ever listen to anything we talk about our songs, Stan wrote most all of our like hooky choruses. You know, like the things you remember from the radio. That's all Stan, our drummer, writing those. He's a great writer, and he wrote this. I remember the house he had in Hollywood Hills at the time, and what it was about. It's kind of it's not controversial, but people are like, hey, what is he talking about? There's a halo hanging around the four-post bed. You know, my girlfriend. What's going on there? Anyways. You can ask Dan, that's his series. But we knew it was a great hook. And then Mark wrote this great verse. And like we're like, this is a great song. Let's play it. And so we recorded it. And then live, it pretty much stayed the same live. You know, David would put like these kind of really interesting basses or keyboard parts. And so sometimes I'd try to morph the bass part because we'd have keyboard bass and a played electric bass. And so, anyways, but it's essentially and the second part sometimes I don't play the C sharp on the way down. Or 2 on the A. Anyways, would be A flat. But enough of that stuff. Let's get to the song. And here's Every Morning. Let's listen to it and play the bass. Sugar Ray songs in order. Super fun. Here we go. This is a rad song. No, not that one. This one. Here we go. And live, it's just like this, you know. Well, actually, let me say a little bit more. There was a point in our band when Stan didn't even play drums. During the hits, he'd come up on front of the stage and play guitar. And he wasn't behind the kit. So Craig and Rodney started together. I remember in rehearsal, like, dude, we got to get this right. In fact, when we did TV shows, it was a real contentious point. Sometimes they didn't start on time because when Craig would hit the button to start the drum beat, it's like there's a tiny second like lag or latency thing that happens. And so, man, I mean, you're on like David Letterman, like 1, 2, 3, 4, but the drums come in and Rodney's early or late or Craig was earlier. It's just like, so that was a funny thing. And then we eventually solved that, but then Stan eventually wound up going back and playing drums with the loop, and that was cool too. So here it is. It's fun to hear this live too, like the stage shakes from like Craig's beat. All right, great video too. The video's rad, man. I think the thing to play in this bass line, it's so simple. It's just to remain focused on such a simple. Now right here, there's a more roly-poly bass line going on. Listen down. Still, that one is still there though. Something's got me reeling, stop me from believing, turn me around again. Said that we can do it, you know I wanna do it again. And then shut the door, baby. Don't say a word. One time I stopped there, I thought there was a stop. It's just the guitar. Where were we? Upstate New York? I'm like, ah! Man, if you play a song for years or do gigs for years, there's gonna be moments like right there that you make mistakes and you blow it, but you just gotta get back in and smile like it never happened. That's exactly what not to do. Be focused and play simple. If the part calls for that though. high D. Accent the snare sometimes. I'm out here. Stan and I did a thing where we hit on F sharp together. We went bum 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 bum. This little thing we worked out live that was cool. It brought energy. Obviously this fades out. So live we just had an ending where we, all cued each other. And then they sang every morning like that. Every morning. Like every morning, it's singing every morning right there. So that's every morning. A song from when we played it for the first time live. We just never stopped playing that song. Great song. Started by the super iconic guitar riff that Rodney invented that made it special and made us all go, hey, what's that? That's really cool. What do you? Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. And the very simple bass line. I think isn't that Sweet Jane? It's funny because I think McGee had said, McGee was always around in the writing process. He was our he directed our videos. He co-produced the first record. He co-wrote some songs. If you look at the liner notes, he has credit for writing. He was always around. He was a great guy to have around to keep you inspired. Like nobody would inspire you like McGee. I don't know if I mentioned some prior, but he's like, you guys are better than anybody. He would like pump you up and say like ridiculous things, but in a way, they weren't ridiculous. It's what you needed to hear and what we needed to hear. Anyways, so I think at one point McGee goes, let's just write a song, man, that has like the Sweet Jane like riff, and that's a smart thing to do. I'll give an example. We're gonna end on that. One time we were on tour. I specifically remember I was sharing a room with Stan. I couldn't sleep. It was the middle of the night, or maybe I woke up, because when you go to Europe, you're jet lagged in like 3 a.m. or you're kind of up, or whatever time, at 2 or 3 a.m. And I'm sitting there and I turn on the BBC or something, and I'm watching this documentary of Brian Wilson talking about how he wrote a particular song for the Beach Boys. And he's on the piano, and he goes, well, I just took like a Chuck Berry riff. Was it Chuck Berry or Little Richard? I think it was Chuck Berry. And he goes, so I took the riff, but I played it in G instead, or whatever key he said, and then I just put my words over it. And like, it was a new melody, but like, I'm like, if Brian Wilson, a revered genius of music, can be inspired and literally take a phrase from somebody, because you can't copyright a musical progression. There's too many. There's only, how many notes are there? There's like a lot of chords, but there's only like 12 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So I said, if Brian Wilson can do that, then we can do that. Of course, anybody can do that. So I think that McGee saying something like that, the air just went off, so that's why I paused. It's a smart thing for McGee to go, let's take something that's really cool and try to apply that, because what you do on top of the chords is entirely yours, and you can even play it in a different rhythm, a different key. It might not even be exactly the Sweet Jane or some other riff or progression that you get inspired to take. So if Brian Wilson can do it, you can do it. All the way back, every morning, a great song that we played. It still continues to be played in the band, and a lot of fun, a lot of memories from this song, playing it and hearing the crowd cheer. There's nothing like that. When you play a song people know, you're just sitting there like, and you hear them cheer. It's incredible, man. It's an amazing feeling, and I wish that everybody out there gets a chance to do that. Play a song people know and have them cheer and applaud. Nothing like it. All right, so signing off. Should I keep the bass fills in? I'm going to ask you guys. Leave it in the comment section every morning. Till next one, which is Falls Apart. It's a great song. See ya.